Alright guys, good morning. It's Nick with NK Landscaping again as usual. Today we're going to the Northeast Hardscape Expo. So we're leaving the trucks behind, taking the car. So I got Steph with me here.
Hello.
We're going to pick up Kurt. It's basically a 2-ish hour drive from Kurt's house. I'm gonna spill coffee all over myself. It's at the Big E Convention Center.
In
Massachusetts. We've been there a couple times for the Big E Fair. Never for the Hardscape Expo. I believe last year it was in Hartford. So we got the invite from A&D Equipment. As usual, they're fantastic. We went last year again on their invite, and we're gonna go check it out today. So it's I don't know if any of you have ever heard of like GIE, or it's now called like the Equip Expo, or even Con Expo. This is like a little mini kind of localized one to us, so we're gonna go check it out. I know A&D's bringing out a bunch of Rotostar buckets and maybe a few other things, so we'll see him there. We're gonna go get Kurt, and then we'll start making our way over to Massachusetts. All right, we're at Kurt's. Just gotta wait for him to come out. You gotta wash the truck. It snowed. What is today? Today's Tuesday. It snowed last week, Monday and Tuesday. So the truck's just been sitting here. We gotta get that all cleaned up. But I think we're done with snow for the season. But wait till Kurt comes out, and then we get to start the fun trip. Oh, I see a door opening. Look who it is. Ready to go. Okay, only a 2-hour trip. Should probably get the GPS going. Well, we'll see you there. Now we're driving through one of my favorite places in the world. Not that you're from here or anything, but we're coming into Waterbury, Connecticut now. So Steph is actually from here. I'm all right. Yeah, you're from Vermont, but you lived here the majority of your life. So I'm used to making this drive a lot. You know, I'm basically coming here every single week to see this here lady, but this guy's just gonna pull in front of me and slow down. But yeah, we're 56 minutes away. But anyway, yeah, be in Massachusetts before long. The roads here are always some of the finest that you can drive on, that you can put your automobile on. But yeah, we'll get through here. We'll see when something else cool happens. So we're in Hartford, Connecticut now, 26 minutes away. If you're any sort of automotive enthusiast, you're gonna understand this. We got a tunnel coming up, so that means the sunroof is open, and you have to do one of those. But yeah, we'll be there in a few minutes. Or to you guys, it'll be pretty quick, but we'll probably be checking in with you when we're pulling into the Big E, see if we can see anything cool. Well, it wouldn't be a road trip without the Dunkin'.
If I wasn't hungry.
Well, you can't even see Kurt. Kurt's excited. I'm gonna get a donut. He's gonna get a donut. And he just got, I finally convinced him, he just got a pair of AirPods. So he's enjoying those. So check back in with you after we, you know, Dunkin'. I just missed it, but we just crossed into Massachusetts here. We got a whopping 9 minutes left to go before we are at the Big E Fairgrounds. Very nice. Alright, cool. See you there. Okay, we are in the Big E now. Had to just give the nice lady $5 so we could park. But doesn't look like they have any shortage of parking today. Normally this place, we come here for the Big E like fair in the summer, and this place is packed, like packed to the brim. We park like nearly a mile away and end up walking. So it's kind of cool to see this place like deserted. But we're gonna, I don't know, I'm kind of like following this truck in front of me, zoomed off. I assume he knows where to go, maybe. So check in with you when we actually figure out where we're going, and give you a tour of the place. All right, so we're parked. We got Kurt. We got Steph. And we'll make our way in. So now that we're back to the main parking lot, there's some people here.
This is nothing compared to.
No, this is nothing compared to like. So we'll show you once we're in here. I think I'm gonna change some settings up on my camera, but we'll see. All right, we're inside, and we're official.
We are official, and we get a free sandwich.
And you get a free sandwich. So
That's why I'm
take a look around. There's a lot going on in here.
indeed.
So there's the case Minotaur, all sorts of stuff. Big case loader. They got everything. It looks like all electric UTVs and things. Very cool. So we're gonna walk around and get kind of acquainted with the place, and then I'll bring you along. And check out Cat's Tilt Rotator. In the Cat booth. Cat's Tilt Rotators are basically a rebranded Roto Tilt brand, and from what I've heard, it's let's just say they're quite a bit more expensive than if you were to just buy a Roto Tilt. But it's funny, the sign above the tilt rotator there says that it starts at $18,000, and that is that's a big tilt rotator. That is not the $18,000 one, I'll tell you that. So we kind of made our way to the back of the show. This is a Milton cat. What do we have here? This is a, I don't even know. This is like a 289? Oh yeah, 289 D3. So that's a big skid steer. Looks like they got a 6-way dozer blade on the front. Rollers. Very cool. So we kind of, the way we do these shows is like up and down each aisle, and then you move over one. That seems to be the most efficient way. Sometimes you just kind of zoom around and get lost. Big place. Alright, so we've been walking around a little bit. I just had a conversation with, I didn't get his name, but someone from the EV Polysand, the Evolution Polysand that we use, and I learned something new. He basically told me to water that sand like you're watering a lawn. He said, you know, running water over the sand is fine, and then once you know, you got everything nice and watered, you just blow it off with the leaf blower. So that's like contrary to how you install most polysands, which is cool. So we're just keeping on walking around, looking at all the different paver companies. So this is Belgard in front of us. Here's the Pave Tool booth. So we use a ton of Pave Tool stuff. They're actually relatively local to us in Connecticut. So we have their paver backpack and a bunch of other grabber tools. So it's always cool to check out their booth. because they always have a bunch of new stuff, and it really does save your back. So this is the Ahern equipment booth. If you're kind of local to the Northeast, you've probably heard of these guys, but they've got a nice KX40 here with an Encon on the end of it. They got the grapple there with a nice, that's probably a 48-inch grading bucket. But KX40 is the one size above our machine. Biggest advantage you're going to get with one of these is it's turbocharged, so a bit more power, a little bit more weight, similar footprint. They're a little bit bigger. But they've got a couple things here. There's a little Saney 26, so this would be just a hair smaller than our machine. So they got the SCL 1000 as well. Cool booth. But a bunch of equipment around here. Nice little Yanmar. I say little, but it's bigger than our machine. So, oh no, it's not. It's a 35. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that.
Bulbousy.
Yeah, it looks kind of bulbous, and then the fact that the AC is kind of shoved up on top. I understand, you know, it's a zero tail swing machine, so they have a little less space to work with in the engine compartment, but I don't like the compromise of having to shove all your air conditioning equipment up top.
That's wide.
Yeah, it does look taller than our machine, but it looks wider, so I guess it's compromises everywhere.
Hi everybody, my name is Donna Lafata. I'm the president of A&D Equipment out of Guilford, Connecticut. This is a Rotostar screening bucket. It is a portable bucket that you can put in the back of your pickup truck and take from job to screen topsoil. It also screens gypsum, all kinds of loam. The reason that this is such a special bucket is because these polyurethane stars are super strong, but they're also super forgiving. And also, they rotate in a way which you would think is a little bit backwards. So the star goes this way. So that star is rotating around, so it's not going in on itself and grabbing the material, it is going that way. So it's almost flicking the material as it circulates around. It is able to screen the material that you put into the bucket here down to about 3/4 inch minus, and that screen topsoil will come out on the other side of this bucket. And then what you're left with here inside the bucket are what we call your tailings. So we have guys that have buckets that screen at their pit to stage their own material for their own jobs. We also have guys that put these in the back of a pickup truck, take them to the job, they scoop, they screen fines right over utility, so we use it to bed utility. Then the tailings that you're left with can be used also to bed in a different place, or you can bury it or build up grade in another area. So it screens wet or dry, which a trommel or a screening plant traditionally will not do. So it's much more versatile. These stars will last at least 10 years. We have screening buckets in our excavating fleet that have original stars that are 10, 12 years old. People don't believe it when I say that, but it's true.
Pretty great.
It's true. And when you do need to replace these stars, they cost 20 bucks each. You can replace just 5 that are worn down, or you can replace everything on the shaft. All the parts are stocked right in Guilford, Connecticut. We can ship them to you overnight. We have great support at A&D Equipment, and we stand by this product.
And now how versatile is this? Like how transferable is it to excavator to excavator?
Well,
you have all
the
different
smallest,
sizes?
Yes, so I think there's 8 or 9 bucket sizes. The smallest is a 2 to 4, which goes on a mini excavator that would be between 2 and 4 tons. That's the 2 to 4. And then we go up from there 3 to 5, 4 to 6, 4 to 9. Now 4 to 9 is interesting. That's this bucket right here. RS 4 to 9 is interesting. It goes on an excavator between 4 and 9 tons, but you can also add a skid plate on the back. It's a couple extra bucks to buy the skid plate, 4 bolts, put it on the back of the screening bucket, then you can put it on a skid steer. Okay, on the skid steer, you're screening. You don't want to use the skid steer the next day. 4 bolts, that plate comes off, and then you attach this to the excavator. So it can go on both machines. So after the 4 to 9, we go 8 to 14, 13 to 20, 20 to 30, and then 25 to 30 for a 25 to 30 ton excavator. So really, really small, 2 to 4, all the way up. Our largest one we have at our pit in Clinton, Connecticut, and we use it to screen materials that come in and out, to stage materials for the job during the week. So, very versatile.
Not bad. Sounds good to me. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'm Dale from Steel Wrist, and today we're going to talk about the Steel Wrist X04 tilt rotator. Steel Wrist manufactures a steel cast product from the top hitch right down into the bottom coupler. This is the X04, which is going to fit on from the 4-ton and down machine size class. You'll notice you have a tilt cylinder here. The performance of the tilt cylinder is much more than no tilt cylinder because you're getting actual force coming down from a hydraulic cylinder versus heel coil. You have a 1-point grease, which is called our central lubrication. All together on this entire unit, there are 4 points for greasing. Also, you'll notice you have auxiliary hydraulics built right into the tilt rotator as well. So when you'd like to connect a grapple such as this one, you don't have to run extra lines all the way up to the end of your stick. The lines will come through from here, out, and directly into your tilt rotator. This tilt rotator has a symmetrical coupler. It's an S40. The nice part about the S40 coupler is it fits from a 3-ton up to a 6-ton size machine. So any new or existing machines in that size class, you could switch over to that S-style coupler and you'll be able to use all the same attachments. Big question that we always receive is, well, what about my existing buckets? We make weld-on adapters, which will mean that you'll just have to cut the existing ears off of your attachments and weld new ones on. You can use every attachment except for the grading bucket. And the reason why is a tilt rotator grading bucket, you'll notice has tapered sides to it versus a squared off bucket. When you go to tilt and rotate with a tapered side, you're going to continue to grade. The square side will cut into the grade that you already created. On this specific unit, we have the integrated gripper already on there. That would take place of your thumb. Instead of having to wedge something between a thumb and a bucket, you now have the ability to pick up whatever you need.
Yeah, we love this thing. It opens up, and it's just a giant pair of claws. It's great. Awesome.
Okay.
Oh.
All right, so right behind us, we got A&D. I know Steph just did a video with Donna, one of the owners,
And
about
Dale from Steel Wrist.
and Dale from Steel Wrist about the Rotostar and the Steel Wrist. So look out for that. You've probably already seen it by now, but it's always a great time catching up with A&D. They are some of the nicest people you'll ever meet. So if you're in the Northeast, anywhere for that matter, give them a call if you're looking for Steel Wrist, Rotostar, Indico products. They will hook you up and they'll treat you like family. So now we're looking at switch and go. This is something we've always, wanted to add to the fleet. It's just since we run mainly 3,500 trucks, we really wouldn't be able to utilize this to the full capacity, unfortunately. But it is still some thought in the back of our head to possibly add this. I know you could still add a gooseneck. You'd have to take off your body basically, but you can still run a gooseneck. It's just got a little bit of a weird placement and ends up putting it slightly behind the axle. When on a standard gooseneck, you want your ball right in front of the axle. But it's something that we've always kind of thought about doing. Kurt, agrees. It's an investment for not a whole lot of return in our case, since 3,500 can't really haul a ton of weight. So we've always thought about this, or possibly getting a bigger single axle dump truck with a hook lift, but it's on our list. So if you've ever watched any YouTube, you've probably seen the Minotaur in real life. But Steph, stand right in the middle of the track there. So Steph is 5'6".
5'5".
5'5", okay. This is a big machine. You can see it's got the dozer blade that pins into the undercarriage. So as you're pushing, it's actually transferring that force back into the frame of the machine. And then you can de-pin that and use this just like a skid steer. And from what I've heard from the people that have tested it, they say it is intense, but
It's a very fitting name.
yeah, no, it's just a 19,000 pound skid steer with steel tracks that,
I don't think you're bringing it on any of my sites.
So what would be the benefit of this?
There's a great video on YouTube.
Yeah?
A lot better than that.
Oh, I bet.
Practice playing right there.
Yeah? I've seen a lot about it. It's just cool to see in person.
You're welcome to hop in. Check it out.
Very cool. Very cool. Just did a little quick snack pit stop. Got some water. Now we'll make our way back to the show. So we wandered outside, and I guess this is the Unilock booth, and they've got the Unilift. This is the Unilift like unit itself, and then they have one mounted to an MT100 Bobcat, a mini skid. But it's basically, you can watch the guy. It's like a super steroid version of the vacuum system that we have. It's just nice because it takes all the lifting off of you. You don't have to do the lifting. It's the machine itself handles it for you. And I'm pretty sure they offer multiple different, you know, feet pads. It's like this. This is like a step. It's like a 6-inch step, 1 foot wide step. So you're not gonna lift that with ours, or at least not with the pads that we have, without a T-handle to do it with 2 guys. So, you know, we never want to get big enough to the point where we're ever gonna need something like this. We don't do these big patios like the picture on the trailer. That's not the way we structure our company. But I do know a couple contractors that have this, and they swear by it because that is a hell of a lot easier than doing it by hand, even with a backpack. But very cool. I'm pretty sure the Unilift system is somewhere in the mid $30,000 range. I don't know what the attachment is. Probably like 25, but it's cool. Cool concept though. Cool to see in action. The SCL 1000. These are cool. This would replace like our BX. It's springy, so you have a little bit of suspension. So this would be, you know, your forward, backward, left, right. And then that's going to control your bucket, just like the skid steer.
What is this?
So this is like a mini skid steer. So this would replace the BX. If you were to, you know, move, you can lift pallets, you can put a bucket on it, Harley rake. So this has all the functionality of a skid steer, it just doesn't have the capacity. You're not lifting a wild amount of weight. So that looks like float. No, I don't know actually.
And like, obviously there's a screen.
Yeah, there would be a screen, but this would, you know, this is your throttle. This is going to be your forward, backward, and twist for turning.
It's like a video game.
It's like a video game, yeah, and then that's your control for actually, you know, doing the bucket. But I mean, they're cool machines. It's just, at least in our business, or the way we've structured it, I mean, I guess this can make sense, but this is a huge investment in a space that I'd rather spend on like steel wrist attachments. Because in that case, I'm not out in the open. I'm not, you know, riding around on basically, I don't know. It's like riding a horse.
Black and orange is so nice.
Yeah, they look great. And, you know, there are a bunch of companies out here that make this, and I think it is a cool thing. You have the third function valves and everything, so you can run like a Harley rake. So I see the place for a machine like this. You know, working in tight areas, you put a Harley rake on here, and that's awesome. It's just like my trailer, if I'm going to a job, it's already full. So this is another trip. You know, if you have a full-size skid steer and a mini excavator, I just don't see how this plays in your business. If this was your only piece of equipment, I could see that being super great. Like if we didn't have a BX and this was our first piece of equipment, that would be awesome. I could see that. And maybe for newer companies or companies that run multiple crews, but the way that we structure a business with basically one crew going out, or at least my crew doing the construction style work, this just doesn't seem to fit in our, you know, realm. We also, it doesn't have the lifting capacity to lift a full Unilock pallet, so that's probably the biggest limiting factor for us. So all the way over to our right, they're doing the paver install demo. So I think a couple different companies compete to install pavers. This isn't really as you know, into it as like when you go to GIE, they lay the whole base down and everything. In this case, they're just laying right down on concrete, which that's the hardest part, I think, of paver installation. But anyway, got this nice display with these nice little models here, enjoying their, yeah, they got real marshmallows. But
I want a marshmallow.
Oh, this is cool. We've kind of seen the whole show. It's pretty big, but you know, a lot of it is some of these smaller manufacturers of things, which you always, every once in a while you find a diamond in the rough. Don't ever shop at Blades Direct. That's seriously one of the worst companies I've ever dealt with. Maybe I'll tell that story another day. Don't shop at Blades Direct. But anyway, we're gonna keep walking around, see if we missed anything. See if we find anything else cool. So we just had a conversation with a nice gentleman from, this is Keystone Hardscapes. And I guess this is a hardscape company that we can get locally to us through like our Page lumber suppliers. And something, you know, they do pavers and walls and everything, but something that really intrigued me was this seating wall back here. So Unilock does a similar thing, but with the seating wall here, you don't glue together the blocks. With Unilock, there's nothing that physically holds the blocks together, so it's all glue on like a pillar or a seating wall. So as you build up, you glue the course, and you know, you're relying on that glue. These have pins that go between the blocks that actually physically lock them together. So you technically should only need to glue the base course to the patio if you want, or you glue the coping course to the main wall system. And another thing that we really liked is their coping is much more user-friendly, I guess you could say. Unilock, the only coping that we found to work with a wall system like this, it's massive, it's really thick, it's really heavy, it's really hard to work with, and it doesn't look that great. But all their coping, it is still concrete, but it looks very natural, and it's not huge. It looks really nice, and it's lighter, and you could technically use this because this coping is flat on both sides, so you do glue down the coping course, but you could put this on a Unilock wall if you wanted to. So they do very similar blocks to Unilock with the pavers and the retaining wall blocks. One thing I did not love about the company is they use a hollow core paver or wall block. I don't know if Steph can open up to that page of the book.
Which one was it?
Unilock basically has a solid wall block versus theirs has the two hollow cores. So in my opinion, they're not as strong and they're not as heavy. A lot of the, you know, strength from a retaining wall comes from your base, of course, but that thickness of the block. So that's one thing that I didn't like, but he did say that they basically beat Unilock prices by half. So if someone's looking for like a budget-friendly option, that's probably a great way to go. But we are going to start considering them. We do get a lot of requests for these seating walls, so I really like the option of having a pin together wall. So it's going to be something that we're going to consider, but that's Keystone Hardscapes. So very cool, very cool. Keep making our way around. I think Bellegarde here, we've talked to them before at like GIE, and I don't think they're local to our area. So very cool though. So this is the Site Tech Northeast. They deal with like TopCon and all sorts of laser and GPS for machines, but they have this 302.7 with the cat tilt rotator on the end. So once again, that's like a rebranded Rototilt. But if you look at this engine bay, it's tight. I mean, it's not the worst, but I mean, it is a smaller machine than our 33. It just seems like I guess, you know, you got your fuel filter right here, which the fuel pump's running. Oil filter's easily accessible. I guess it's not the worst, but it seems a little less accessible than our Kubota. But it's cool. This machine is set up, I think, with a 2D system. I don't know if that's 3D, but very cool. One thing I'm not a fan of is this cable and hose routing. That's a little messy. But I don't know. Not a big fan of CAT when it comes to small machinery. But it's cool to see in person. They got all these different hubs and everything set up here. Super cool. Something that you know, once budget allows, this would be something we'd love to set our machine up with, like a 2D system, grade control. That would really help out when doing some of these patios. You basically eliminate the need for a, you know, someone holding the laser level stick there, which would save a lot of time. So
It's really cool.
yeah, it is really cool. It's always cool to come to these shows and see stuff like this, you know, in person, because it gives you an idea for how it can really be used in the field, which is awesome. Well, we're wrapping up. Just wanted to give you guys one last shot of that Rotostar bucket. I think A&D did one of the best displays there, and they have something right by the front door.
Yeah, I wonder how they got that.
I wonder how they got that, because they're the best.
Yeah.
So that's it. That was 2023 Northeast Hardscape Expo. So I think last year this was in Hartford, so they've upgraded to doing this here at the Big E Fairground.
They said they needed a bigger space.
They need a bigger space, so that was awesome. It's always cool to, like, if you're in this industry, even if you're not in the industry, you can sign up for this stuff. I know they want you to put a company, but find a local company and put their name or something. But if you're interested in this stuff, it's cool to be able to walk around and check out the new equipment. And there's smaller vendors that, some of them have stuff that's not so good, but some of them have stuff that is really innovative, and it is cool to see that the landscape and construction industry is growing, and it, you know, provides a place like this for you to meet people and talk to people. It's fun. So it's just also cool to see some of these machines up close, like, you know, without having to travel, like GIE for us, or now it's Equip Expo, that's in Kentucky, so that's 12-hour drive for us. Or Con Expo, you gotta go all the way out to Las Vegas, or even Bauma, which we got an invite through Steel Wrist, but to go to Germany. No, we're this way. Oh, we did? Oh, well, we're losing our way.
I would really love to go to Germany,
Kurt's
though.
letting us know where to go. Yeah, Bauma in Germany would be fantastic, but
Con Expo first.
Con Expo, I think we're gonna try for
2026.
2026, I believe. But that's it for today. I want to thank you guys for watching as usual. So you know the drill. If you want, you can like, comment, or subscribe. If you don't want to, that's cool too. But thank you from Steph, me, and Kurt over here. We're gonna go get some J. Timothy's chicken wings.
Oh, if you haven't been there, it's in Plainville, Connecticut, and if you're local, go. It's so good.
You heard the woman. If you're local to Connecticut, Plainville, Connecticut, even if you're not so local, we make the drive. Best chicken wings around. So we're gonna go do that, make our way home, and then we're back to work tomorrow. So I'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys. You didn't think I'd tell you about the best wings in the world and then not show you. There you go. Well, that's the options you get. And if you want to read this, I think that's focused in. You could pause on that, but that's where we're at. That's my go-to right there, the sweet red chili.
They have a lot of beer choices as well.
Yes. Kurt is very excited. I'm gonna get a bucket. He's gonna get a bucket. Wow. And he'll bring it home. He always eats it later. Very nice. Before it disappears, because we're hungry, their pretzel here, top notch.
The beer cheese, top notch.
Very good. Very good. The beer cheese. Kurt's happy. I'm happy. Steph's happy.
And these are the wings. If you come here, make sure you get them dirt style. So good.
I love these wings. Show them the bucket. It's not going to be enough.
I don't know about that.
I'm going to have to get
Apparently
another
their blue
bucket.
cheese is like homemade and also really good. That's the bucket.